Well, Charles, I did say we're going to talk about more functional organizations momentarily. Stand by, stand by. We'll get there. Right now, we're going to talk about the Las Vegas Raiders and Josh McDaniels. Wow, they made the playoffs last year. At one point, they were 6-7. They went 4 straight down the stretch with Rich Bisaccia. Who? Rich Bisaccia leading them into the playoffs. And they had a great playoff game against Cincinnati. They lost in the end. All right. Now, here we are with Josh McDaniels. They brought him in. McDaniels got a chance, Charles, to pick his own general manager. They traded for Davante Adams. They had a lot going on. Spent some money, brought in Chandler Jones, and here they are losing to the Jaguars. Yet another, third time this year, they've blown a lead of at least 17 points.
Yeah, you can't do this.
And so,
they're
you can't do that.
No, the organization at this point, you brought up Chandler Jones. Like, what? All that money you spent, what is the return on it? At least Davante Adams, this against the Jaguars, you're like, he's balling. Okay, you see, you don't have to go explain to Mark Davis again why you went out and made the move for him. But you need to explain why you keep giving up leads, right, to a team that really, let's be honest, Jacksonville's got its own mess to deal with right now. Jacksonville dealt for Calvin Ridley. That's how desperate this franchise is to try and get itself some talent and fix things moving into 2023. You dealt for a guy who's suspended for a year for gambling, and this is the team that the Raiders go and lose to.
My kind of team. My kind of team.
Davis,
I bet your money.
Michael, is Mark Davis patient here? Like, do you think Mark Davis could look at Josh McDaniels and go, nah, one and done, you're out. That's it.
No, he's not going to be patient. Listen, I thought this before the Jacksonville loss, the loss to Jacksonville, he comes out with this vote of confidence for Josh McDaniels. I said, no, why'd you do that? Why'd you do that? And look who's next on the schedule. Like, how ugly can it get? Ugly meets ugly. Ugly finds ugly. All right, so Raiders, Colts, and you got the Colts at home with Jeff Saturday and Sam Ellinger. And who knows calling plays. Is Saturday going to draw some plays in the dirt? Say, all right, Sam, go ahead and run that one. Who's the coordinator? I don't know. Ursay? I don't know who's calling plays, but you've got to win this game. But I look at it, once Mark Davis gave him that vote of confidence, and they went out and they lost to the Jaguars. And Charles, how about the quote from Davante Adams? Davante Adams, who even checked himself in the interview, said, look, it sounds like I'm down on my coaches, but I love my coaches. But what are we doing? If it's not broke, don't fix it. Why did we change? He was dominant in the first half yesterday. Dominant, unstoppable, unguardable, unwatchable. Second half, 1 catch, no yards. So what do you think is going to happen? Because I think it's going to be one and done for McDaniels. I really do. It's unfortunate. I know you like him. I love him. I've known him for a long time. Smart guy, a champion. He's learned a lot from his first opportunity. This is a good spot for him. I thought, good spot. But they just keep losing these games. What do you think is going to happen?
I really liked Rex Ryan. He was a good coordinator, right? He wasn't a good head coach. Norv Turner, right? Really good coordinator, not a good head coach. There are plenty of guys in the NFL where their natural ceiling is being a coordinator and not handling every other facet that head coach requires. Okay, you have to be able to delegate. You have to be able to run the big meeting. You have to be able to motivate. You have to get pulled into offices at time to deal with business side stuff. There's a million different things that you have to do as a head coach, and some people just ultimately aren't meant for it. Josh McDaniels clearly was not meant for it in Denver. There's no question there. Okay, built a decent, put a couple nice pieces. Too much too soon. Put a couple nice pieces in place in Indianapolis, and then pulled out of that situation to do what? To find the look, he's going to wait, be patient, perfect landing spot. Let's find the right quarterback situation, a team that's got great facilities, all these things. He supposedly landed that in Vegas, And if this is what's being produced, and what scares me beyond just what's being produced on the field is when you look at adjustments, right? Halftime adjustments. You have leads in games, particularly a game against Jacksonville. You're supposed to get better coming out of that, half. If you're all the best coaches, the coaches we love, are great halftime adjusters. I don't really feel like that here with the Raiders. So that's a significant problem. But not only that, I think the fact that they sold Mark Davis, and that's, Dave Ziegler is the general manager there, who I think is extremely talented. And I think if they're patient with him, no doubt.
Handpicked general manager by McDaniels.
Tandem with McDaniels. I think you have two individuals who said this is not a reboot situation. Okay, it's a pivot, and spend some money, trade for a player, signed a couple, trade for a cornerback in Rock Ya-Sin, sign the DN, the edge rusher. None of it. I mean, look, the wide receiver's working out. All right, that's great, but nothing else is, and that's a significant problem. I think the only way out of this, you tell me if this is legitimate, the only way out of this is if McDaniels and Ziegler can go to Mark Davis and say, and I think this would have to be a little bit of a change of the tune. Let's go back and look at all the drafts of our predecessors. There's nobody here. There ain't nobody here because they struck out on everybody. Like that's not our fault.
The other guys.
Here.
That's a good strategy.
Right.
Ask Frank Reich how that worked out. Hey, listen, it's not me. It's the other guy. Hey, you know why we losing these 17-point leads? You go talk to your boy. Mike. Go talk to Mike Mayock. Go talk to Gruden. That's him. I can't listen. I don't have linebackers. I don't have defensive linemen because these guys kept missing up top. I mean, that's good. That's part of it. But see, I think it's too late. You're right, Charles. In all seriousness, you're right. I think that's a major factor. It's a major factor in any team. No team can just miss on high draft picks for 3 or 4 years, or have draft picks. You start to hit on a draft pick, and then that guy does something crazy like Henry Ruggs did. Or, you draft Damon Arnett high, and it doesn't work out, and you move on from high draft picks. It's not just the money. It used to be the money, like with the quarterbacks before we had some kind of salary control. Oh, your franchise can't afford it because of the financial implications. No, it's not financial. It's just the bottom line, the product. You're missing out on talent, and so you got to get it somewhere else. You're supposed to get it cheaply and easily in the draft. You missed it. Now you got to get it somewhere else. Like, no team can miss as often as the Raiders missed and just say, oh, we recovered from it. I think they made the mistake in the selling. Like, you're Josh McDaniels. He needed a hype man. He needed Michael. He needed a Michael Holley to be his hype man.
He did.
He'd be like, man, they don't. Listen, you don't need them. They need you. Like, you're gonna go and say, hey, I'm gonna sell you on myself. No. I'm Josh McDaniels. I got rings, multiple rings. I'm here. I'm making a lot of money in New England as an offensive coordinator. I helped Tom Brady, helped Tom Brady reach his heights. And now I got another one. Mac Jones, first-year guy. He's like 5th most passing yards of any rookie quarterback in the league, Pro Bowler. I did that. So what are you going to do for me? So if he didn't sell Davis, but let Davis recruit him, he could tell Davis anything. And what I would have told Mark Davis is the truth. You're not a playoff team. You made the playoffs last year. You're not a playoff team. You got too many holes. You're not as good. You're not one or two players away. You're not.
Yeah, but Michael, you introduced the problem in all that. I mean, you already said his name, Rich Bisaccia, right? I mean, you can sit here now.
Yeah.
And this is how I'd flip it. If I'm Mark Davis, I'm sitting there going, yeah, you're right. The drafts are bad. Didn't produce players, all these different things. But we went on a run last year. Like, we held together with a head coach down the stretch through a lot of bad circumstances. And I'm inclined to think that
last year.
I mean, I'm inclined to think that wasn't just emotion, right? It wasn't just, hey, we went through some things. They were bonded together and they played harder and, overcame some obstacles, whatever. No, I mean, they produce. That's all that matters. You don't bring in a new set of guys and then spend money and do things that they want to do and all of a sudden everything flips itself on the head. And again, let's lean back into Davante Adams. I think he's right. I think Davante Adams sitting there on the inside looking at the situation is right when he says this shouldn't be happening. It just shouldn't be happening. Again, I'm paraphrasing him here.
Why not? But why? Okay, but why shouldn't it be? I mean, I know why a player would say that if it's your team. If you're a part of that team, you say it shouldn't be happening. But why? Okay, you Charles, you're not part of the team. I'm not either. Tell me why it shouldn't be happening to the Raiders, because they're so talented, because they're better than everybody. Like, why should it happen to them?
Jacksonville. I mean, at the very least, it shouldn't have happened against Jacksonville, right? You got a 17-point lead against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Is that a juggernaut? Is Jacksonville look?
No.
I mean, I already made the joke about Calvin Ridley.
Are the Raiders? Really, but the Raiders aren't either. But the Raiders aren't. So okay.
Quarterback's better. Okay. Wide receivers better. Running back, arguably better. Okay. Jacksonville, the only thing I'd give you Jacksonville, I'd say defensively, Jacksonville's front defensively, better team. But otherwise, it wasn't like Jacksonville's playing good football. It wasn't like Jacksonville had it turned around. It wasn't like Jacksonville has it figured out. They got their own brand of problems. Frankly, if Jacksonville was in Las Vegas and Las Vegas was in Jacksonville, we'd be having the conversation about, is Doug Peterson going to get fired again? That's the conversation we would be having right now. But because they're in Jacksonville, we're not having that conversation. And if McDaniels was in Jacksonville right now, we wouldn't be having that conversation about Shad Khan saying, you know what, going to pull the plug after 1 year. That's the difference, okay? Even if they are the same teams, we're having a different conversation because of the owners and the location.
That's right. That is correct. Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.